This is a video cover of Henry Ospitia's presentation on the basis of marketing. He contrasts motivation by thoughts and purposes imposed by others with intrinsic self-motivation that establishes a work ethic in a person which leads to sound structures and profitable growth for their projects and businesses. Henry says to discover who and what you are in relationship to others by surveys. Talk very little and listen much to discover what people want and need. Henry starts his presentation, and I'm quoting, "When I survey any kind of business or project, I often find that they reach a point in time where they can't expand. They have many difficult issues to resolve. They usually don't consult anyone until they have financial losses. When I make a graph of their past production, it goes high and low repeatedly. They never get above what they expected in profits. They couldn't. So, I explained to them that growth of an organization is based on how well it was established, structured, and purposed. I put together what they need to understand about why they're not growing and why they have issues. I give them this picture of the last house standing. It was the only house left standing after Hurricane Ike hit Bolivar Peninsula in Galveston, Texas. Now, I saw a very similar scene in Florida 25 years ago after Hurricane Andrew hit. I remember I woke up one morning after the storm, and there was a lady interviewing a man on TV whose house was still intact after the storm, just like the one in Bolivar. Every house around his had been destroyed, but not his house. It was standing. The lady newscaster said, "This is amazing. I mean, it's like a miracle. The Andrew hurricane went left and right and didn't touch your house." But the man responded, "There's no such thing as a miracle. I'm a contractor. I built my house to stand a Category 5 hurricane, and Andrew was a Category 1. It's there because I built it well. I even have electricity because I thought ahead to have a generator." Boy, as I watched that, I thought, wow, this is something to think with. Life is full of surprises. And to the degree that you're ready for whatever happens, you'll continue to be standing. Or, if you fall, you can get right back up. That's what I mean by establishment of your organization, your plans, your goals, or whatever you're trying to do. There are key questions to ask and key answers to get before unexpected things happen. There are many kinds of storms that destroy lives and property. For example, what happens if your partner leaves? What happens if you wake up one morning and find that someone's stolen your reserves? What if you wreck your car and wind up in the hospital? Well, whatever happens will test how well you've established your life and your work. The same applies to your business. To understand this a little better, let's ask some more questions. Ask yourself, what holds me back from continuing to expand? I'll tell you this story. A guy on a chicken ranch discovers each day that passes he has fewer chickens. He gets new chickens to replace the lost ones, but he still keeps losing chickens. He says, "What the hell? One day he stayed up all night and he saw little foxes in the coop and said, "That's what happened to my chickens." Like the chicken farmer, you need to figure out what the hell is wrong with your establishment, what you're doing wrong. Losses just don't occur. If the establishment of your life and business is right, there's continuous growth. I don't, care who you are and what kind of business you have. Let's say you have a sales team. You sell this, you sell that. It doesn't matter. If you establish something, the purpose is to continue to grow. It's the same as a well-built house in a hurricane. It will still be there after the storm, no matter what happens to others who were less well prepared. Organizations have foundations and must be properly built, just like houses in Texas and Florida that were still standing after the hurricanes. There are two directions to go in life. Some people say there are three: going up, going down, or staying level. I hate to say this, but nothing stays level in this life. You either go up or you go down. If you make the same amount of money year after year, you're making less money because everything costs more. You're going down. So if you're not making more each year, you're not going to survive. Sooner or later, something bad is going to happen, and you'll not be able to have the resources to recover. Often people in business do very well for a short time after they start working. Then suddenly, things happen. Bad things. Things that seem to have no reason to be. Their business stops expanding. Starts dying. When you stop having a dream, you stop having a purpose. And often you start getting ill. And people say, "What happened, man? What happened to your life? What goals and purposes did you miss? Where are all of these failures coming from?" But it's not you. It's what you didn't do. It's because the business was not established correctly, and it went down instead of going up. You know you're going to struggle trying to avoid going down. People usually rely on two types of organizations to avoid the fall. The first type of organization looks like a wind-up dial that you must constantly motivate, constantly supervise, and often threaten. Or it's like a little rabbit you give a carrot. It only hops because someone's supervising it and feeding it carrots. That's one kind of organization in our world, the carrot and stick kind. It has no life within it. Everyone is motivated because they're going to get something, and they do what you want. If not, they don't get paid. And they don't do it for a purpose of their own. They do it because there's something in there for them. That's it. To hell with everybody else, right? That's the kind of organization we see most of the time. There's another type of organization built on relationships, one in which there's freedom to create and to expand. It's based on trust. Without trust, people treat each other badly. It's distractive, time-consuming, and life-consuming. The relationship kind of organization is built on ethics, and it shows you the best way to do things. It is built on the adoption of a right attitude that changes everything. As an example, I trust my wife. I don't have constant attention on her. She's very beautiful. We're very honest and faithful and ethical to each other. I was not always that way. But now I have the right attitude and I have a great life. It's a life based on trust. I don't have to be a vigilante, and neither does my wife. Constant oversight and real trust are two different types of relationships. One is based on need and the other on purpose. Work based on need alone lacks purpose. If you work for a paycheck and not to build something and to help people, you're just there for the money and you don't care. You don't care. Beside the two types of organizations, there are two types of knowledge. One, there's information you learn so that you can create your own future and direct your own life. And two, there's information given to you by others to create their world and to manipulate your world for their purposes. I like to see people with type 1 information who create things that give others power of choice. They say, this is what you need to do so you can create your own business or project and live the life that you want. I'm offering you this thing that you need. When that transfer of purpose happens, the person being helped needs to become aware. They need to stop being used and marketed. What usually happens is nobody really is marketing the right way. That's the difference. Because if you show people the facts and give them choices, they can choose well. After you make people aware of facts and choices, they have knowledge that leads to creation, independence, and freedom. They acquire intrinsic self-motivation to help themselves and others. It's proper marketing and a different kind of knowledge. The purpose of establishing or reestablishing your organization is to get people with you to look, think, decide, apply, and correct on their level to stop declining as an organization and to make it grow and prosper. No one can do it for you. It's as if someone cleaned your house for you and you never did it. Then they quit or died and your house just fell apart. If you don't clean it, you won't know how it's done and you'll become a slave to things. And that's why we need intrinsic self-motivation, because it works. Why would I want to work in an organization if I'm the one who always must tell people what to do? Why would I want someone like that beside me? I don't want to be in an organization based on that. This is where true positive information begins. Teach it, and people favor it. They start looking, thinking, deciding, applying, and correcting by themselves. That's freedom. Freedom is always great. My consulting group is based on that. I don't like parasites. What's true marketing program? Often marketing's misunderstood. Some people think that if you put ads on Facebook, you get leads. Some ad salesmen call that marketing. But I hate to tell you this. Marketing is an umbrella concept, not a thing you buy online. Marketing starts from the moment you create the concept, materialize it, package it, promote it, disseminate it, put it in people's hands. All the procedures are under the umbrella of marketing. If you want to do this right, you must constantly strengthen and expand your organization. Done right, it would be the base of your business, like the frame of a building to which you can add structure and beauty. That's how it's done. You can try to bypass it, shortcut it, whatever you want. But you're never going to get the continuous expansion and the ease of steady growth if you don't do it right. You'll have all kinds of issues. You will not have prepared for the Category 5 hurricane. You must put two things in place, two types of flows. You have existing customers and customers you once had, all of whom are in your files. Let's call it contacting of existing customers. This would be the procedure. First, you must survey them. As an example of a call introduction, you say, hello, how are you? How are you doing? So I see that you were serviced by Brenda and John a few years ago. How's it going? And they might say, well, no, I didn't like it. That's why I didn't come back anymore. Oh, really? Tell me about it. What happened? So, by opening up that conversation, you might be able to find out that someone's hurting your business internally and you never knew about it because you never followed up on that patient or that customer and you never handled their upset. Whenever you have an upset individual, you have an area where promoting doesn't stick very well. It's like there's a negative energy in that area. That's why you must serve people personally, not with machines and robots. This is the number one thing business owners, doctors, or anyone doesn't want to do. It's like confronting your own hurtful things. You must follow up. It's hard. You call, you see them, you say, how'd it go? It's been 3 months since you bought this. How's it going? And they may say, well, I'm not happy. And you say, what happened? I bought it and I don't have use for it anymore. Now this is your customer. So buy it back. Buy the damn thing back. Refurbish it. Resell it. Keep the person happy. Why? I'll tell you why. If you do this, that's helping. That's purpose. Then go to step 2. Follow up on that handling. Ask, are you happy now? And if that happens, you get to the golden step, which is helping others. You can say, listen, you know of anybody I can call, a relative of yours? Referral? You won't get to the golden step until the survey, the handle, the follow-up steps are done. They will not refer anything if you don't call, listen, and solve their problems within your organization. Maybe your customer hasn't used any of your products or services. I don't know. You may be thinking that because he hasn't used it, he doesn't know what he has. So wouldn't you want to be following up, telling him a little bit more to strengthen the relationship? When customers have trust and they know you're familiar to them, you can ask, do you have anybody else I can call? 70% of the people I had in medical benefits were all referrals. Over 3 years, we enrolled 35,000 people in Medicare Advantage plans in Texas, more than any agent in the United States. And after that, after you do these things, you continue following up and strengthening relationships. And it doesn't have to be about selling anything. You say, hello, how are you doing? They know you. They might respond, hey, you know what? I met this lady. She needs your service. I just remembered that because you called me. And I've had many of those types of responses. Now here's the point. You can't do this with computer apps or emails. You must do this with a living person. You can't replace a living person. That person can use videos, emails, WhatsApp, texting. Yes, but that is to facilitate or enhance the liveness, the personal relationship. That's why today we can do wonders with this technology that gives us great communication capabilities, great tools to use, but you must have a live person who knows what they're doing. If you don't have that, nothing is going to work. Call people you have in your files, whomever you've known. Then call new people you need to promote too. Those are two different kinds of surveys. Existing and new people are called lead generating surveys. When those surveys are done, they're always about what people think they need. They might say, well, I need financial help. I need assistance with handling my children. I need whatever. You might ask, how's your health? And they could respond, well, I've been doing well. Really? Tell me a little bit more about it. Okay, let me see. Now, even though you might have a doctor with you, working with you, and you might be in a clinic, you never say, oh, well, Dr. Steve is here. Never say it. You go, all right, let's see what I can do. Let me give you a call back. Let me search. And they'll say, really? Really? Yeah, tell me a little bit more about what you did. Okay, good. All right, let me get back with you. Give it a couple of days. Call him back and say, I got some great news. I have Dr. Martinez there. He lives right near you. I just talked to them. Or, I have this program you can purchase that sounds like what you asked for information about. You want to create a relationship. And when you do, it will generate leads. This is the secret of having new people, not only the referring people. After you have the relationship, you can use videos or Facebook or YouTube and emails and texting and WhatsApp, but only with a live person. That's the point in time when people think, oh, can I just replace people with a system? No, you can't. It won't work. You handle things personally. You get people what they want. You follow up on it. You strengthen the relationships. Then you can ask, is there anyone else that needs our service? If they're happy, they might say, absolutely, I'll refer you. You say, well, give me some names. And they say, oh, it's okay, I'll tell him. I'll call him on your behalf. Now, that's what we did at Medical Benefits to strengthen relationships. Now, this is marketing in its most economical form. Today, what is called marketing is expensive. It should not be that way. The cost of marketing has actually lowered to only 10 or 20% of what it was 7 years ago. It's knowing how to do it with the proper combination of concepts and real people. Proper public relations marketing finds upsets and handles them. If you find people who are upset with you, they need to be handled. Talk with them. Find out what happened. Give them their money back, or just explain something. Fix what's wrong, and give them extra service. Make up for what you missed. Here's an extra coupon. Here's this, that. But make it happen, and follow up on it to make sure that it's done. Now, Pizza Hut's doing this right now. If you complain about your pizza being bad, they'll get you a new pizza. You see it in their commercials. You can create recognition of who you are and acceptance of who you are. Now, you have to use words that ring a bell. Words that people can hear. Marketing words, not specialized words you might use inside your type business. I tried using the word co-op to suggest healthcare, but it was not a word that rang a bell. So I searched. I did 30 calls and asked, what are you looking for when it's concerning your health? And the number one answer was medical program. When they're hearing you, you can explain that it's a co-op and so on. But if you don't have to use that word. Stay away from that word. This is how you modify. This is how I did Pizza Hut and Burger King and stuff. I modified wording because some words ring bells, others don't. Instead of co-op, you might say, so, don't you have any medical program or healthcare program? No, I don't. Oh, okay. Let me work on that. And that's the word that you use. And that's what the surveys do. They find recognition and acceptance. And they create leads based on referrals from people you help who are happy with you. And you can use all the tools that you want to do that. The most important part of public relations marketing is data. Data is how to find out what's wrong and what's right. Data is where to find out what services people want. Data is an expensive commodity. That's why Fables is free and YouTube is free and other programs are free, because those companies want the data from you, and everyone's very willing to give it because they get those products for free. So from your data, you have two things that are priceless. Data to contact your customers and data to learn what they want. From this data, you make new marketing campaigns or modifications to the campaigns you have. Don't say this, do this, lower the price, raise the price, whatever they need. If you want to help people, you've got to get real. How are you going to do this? Through marketing, through surveys. What constitutes strengthening and continuous expansion of any organization? Now, if you just want to make money, give Mr. Facebook or Mr. Google your money and play that game. But if you really want to make it for real, you must understand basics and you must get in communication with people whether you like it or not. There's a truth about marketing. You need to think clearly about that work. Regardless of tools or what you do, effectiveness and quality is measured by cost. They may not be what you think they are, because the less it costs, the more effective it is. You may ask, well, how can that be? It's very simple. You start by creating a relationship. Word of mouth kicks in. And it's more effective than any type of advertising. It will bring 5 to 10 times more customers than a broker with a call list. I had people I gave a list to call for leads. I gave one broker 3 pages of names. She told me, Henry, where did you get this list? It's horrible. No phone or no response, no answer, not interested. It doesn't qualify. They don't qualify. There are wrong names on this list. And I said, well, I guess those lists were kind of messed up. Then the next broker came in and I had given her 3 pages from the same list. And she says, let me give you the pages back. And I said with some fear, oh my God, they're all messed up. And she said, no, 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 I don't need them. Then she takes a piece of one page and said, look, I got 12 referrals from here and 5 from here, and I have 7 appointments. I have enough for 2 weeks. She gives me 2.5 pages back. It was the individual who was working the list. The one that said it was messed up had never been trained to do it right. So that's the thing. Train people to do it right, and it will happen. There are no ifs, ands, and buts. If you do it, it's going to happen. That's my experience, and that's how it worked for me. My life works that way. Henry stopped his presentation. Then I said, this is the best presentation I've ever heard. And I'm not talking about just from you. I'm talking about the best presentation I've ever heard. All right? Period. I've seen lots and lots and lots of them. Okay? All the key elements that other people have written about and talked about and done, you've encapsulated in a very simple way. The building of the house on the rock instead of on the sand. And the picture of it is dramatic. Following up with the relationship being personal and not automatic was right on. The idea of carrot and stick management not being right has been established for a long time, but most companies still do it. Nobody knows how to implement intrinsic self-motivation. I think between the structure I have among a few people plus your concepts and your ability to do the details of this kind of stuff, this work could be outstanding. So I don't want the relationship we have. I want to be a partner. I want us to see this as a partnership. I don't want too many of us involved at the level of concept and then at the level of execution. There will be many people involved at the level of the relationships. That's where I want to go. I want to make sure that nobody coming to us must worry about whether they're going to get paid or what they're doing. I want to put that away before we start. And I'll do that. I'm in the process of doing that right now. We're close. I think we'll have this done shortly. And maybe we'll get it done before the end of the year. Just 20 days left.